Alright, so now I'm going to show you how all the functions of this LEGO racing simulator works. So first I'm going to start off with the handbrake. So this handbrake controls the emergency brake in the game. So when I turn this, it's hooked up to an axle. And I have a rubber band here that makes itself right. And the axle goes to a gear over here that goes to a chain. And it goes to a couple diffs that there's a gear ratio to this large gear here. And when I push down with this handbrake, press this square button right here. And I added a rubber piece so it won't slide at all. Next, I'm going to show you how the shifter works. So the shifter has this large gear here connected to a smaller gear diff down there. And I have a bunch of other diffs that go through this mounting system here all the way down to this one. And then that one goes to this axle here that goes inside of this worm gear configuration inside of here. And I added this custom piece here, so when I pull backwards on the shifter, presses one button, and I pull forwards in the shifter, and it presses on the other. Alright, next I'm going to show you how the Nitrous works. So I have this little button on the end, you know, just to make it look nice, and there's an axle going through this beam that it's hooked up to right here. So it goes through and then it goes all the way down to the bottom, and I've added a little holder thing for it so it won't go all over the place side to side. Sturdy. And at the bottom I just added a little attachment so it'll press the button. So you press it and it just works like that. Next I'm going to show you the steering. So with the steering, I've got it set up so I can turn it like this, and when I turn it, it goes to these gears that are connected to the front. But I'm going to show you this first. So I added this thing here connected to our band that self-rights, that when I turn it enough, it makes a click that signals that I need to stop turning the wheel or else I'm going to break something. And I have it going both ways. So that goes to this gear that goes through this mount right here. But inside of here, there's a worm gear, like a worm gear like this. Pretend that's the worm gear. And you get a gear, so when it spins, it moves back and forth. And so that has it down here. So this would be the rack, the worm gear rack. I mean the gear rack. So I turn this, and the gear rack moves side to side. And it has these little sticks here that are, you know, pushing it back and forth. So I turn right, it pushes it right, and I turn left, and it pushes it left. So it just turns the car left and right in the game. And second to last, I have a holder. So this it helps keep the controller down, and it doesn't let it pop up when I'm using the pedals, because the pedals are under here and they're pushing on the toggles. So if you push on the toggle too much, it's gonna just shoot the controller out. So I added this little worm gear configuration with this little beam here that has rubber pieces in the end. So when I turn this down here, this little red knob, it pushes down on the controller so it won't move. And last but not least, I have the pedals. So there's 2 strings here, if you can see those, that go to these little pieces, little beams. So they go to this gear rack. This is what was in the steering, by the way. And when I pull on the string, which is connected to the pedals, it pushes on the reverse for the car. So that goes like that. And then I have these rubber bands connected to that. So when I push in the pedal and then it goes back, so it doesn't just keep on going in reverse like the entire game. And then I have gas, which is like forward. So, you know, that's over here, but it's basically a mirror version of this. And, you know, same thing with the rubber band. And those go down to the floor. So I'll show you on the floor. So what I have here is 2 pedals, and I used a wheel as my spring. So I got more clearance when I'm pressing down. So it's connected to this little plate down here that has a bunch of holes in it. So I push down on this. And I added these little stoppers. So when I smash down on the pedal, it doesn't just break the string off. And that little wheel helps it just go back up to where it was. And I have these little 90-degree pins that, you know, keep it all there. And added 2 weights because they're pedals, and if they move, I'm just not gonna be able to play. So yeah, that's how all these Lego functions work on my simulator. And let's get back to driving.